Opponent attempts to make the double resisted Psystrike catch, but all they catch is the work of the Shadow Queen. Welcome back to the channel. The hiatus is over. It's been over a week since I've posted, but we are back at it today with my favourite battler, the one and only XBoston. XBoston is one of my Discord moderators, and he is this season aiming to join the very elite club of trainers reaching legend rank only using Shadow Pokemon. Today we're going to pick up his journey in the Open Master League, where we're using the King and Queen of Shadow Destruction. The Queen, of course, is the oppressive, charm down, farm down specialist Gardevoir, and the King is going to be that very attack weighted Shadow Mewtwo. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, Boston leads his Shadow Mewtwo into Palkia Origin. These Origin forms are going to be here, there, and every fucking where. Boston leading Mewtwo is likely to be pulling shields left, right, and centre as people are petrified of the damage output. Mewtwo fires off the Psystrike, gaining us early shield advantage. Boston happy to invest a Protect Shield back. It takes Palkia Origin the equivalent of 6 Cycle Cuts to their cheapest charge move of Aqua Tail. We fire off Psystrike number 2, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent doesn't commit to their farm down, and Boston is happy with Mewtwo's contribution. Aqua Tail secures the knockout, and we send out Gardevoir. The opponent, not wanting to be a victim of the charm down, farm down, pivot out into Zacian. Shadow Gardevoir cannot tank a hit. To save its life, it's safe to say it is a very glassy Pokemon. Boston shields up their play rough, returns fire with the Triple Axle. Triple Axle doesn't do all that much damage, but does vamp up our attack. We get the full charm down, farm down. The opponent then send out Xerneas. Dragonite looking like a pretty good third shield at this time. Boston throws on the CMP tie, or as home size Henry would say, plays the CMP tie. He does not win. Moonblast secures the knockout. It's now all down to Dragonite. Dragonite looking to go for the superpower. Superpower is single resisted. Is it enough to knock out? Yes, it is. Back out comes Palkia. Dragonite looking to reach the Dragon Claw, but unfortunately we get outpaced, and this resisted Aqua Tail with the lowered defense is going to be enough to take that game. Unfortunately, Boston is going to be off to a 0-1 start, with Shadow Dragonite looking like very dead weight against the double fairy backline. In the next battle, we see yet another Origin form. This time it's Dialga. An objectively worse matchup for Mewtwo due to the fact Steel does resist Psychic. Boston continuing to farm up. We shield up the Iron Head. The opponent then pivot out into Metagross, and Boston is not baiting. He falls into Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball goes unshielded, near one-shot in Metagross. Boston then gets the double resisted Psycho Cut farm down, back out. Comes Dialga, and Dialga is greeted with the Shadow Queen Gardevoir. Due to Dialga's sub-steel type in these charms are only neutral at Boston, looking for the one shield, charm down, farm, all the way down. Can we get it before the next Iron Head? Get that Dialga off my screen. Gardevoir leaves absolutely loaded. The opponent's final Pokemon is Palkia, and Palkia is about to have to face a vamped up Gardevoir. Triple Axle forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent does reach the Aqua Tail. Just before we reach the next Triple Axle, Aqua Tail does secure the knockout. We can send out Dragonite, commit to the Dragon Breath farm down, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see two Pokemon that apply very little fast move pressure, but both hit like a truck. The opponent farms up to a potential Precipice Blaze. We see the instant no shield deployed, as people love to bait Shadow Pokemon, and Boston is rewarded as it was the Fire Punch bait. We then return fire with the Psystrike, once again forcing us early shield advantage. The opponent going straight Fire Punch. We probably would survive this Fire Punch, however Boston opts to invest the Protect Shield. The opponent then send out the stupid Tin Can. We fire off the Psystrike, to my surprise, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. I think we're looking for the chip and dip, but regardless, this stupid Tin Can is once again greeted with the Queen of Destruction. You know the drill, Boston. Gonna go for the one shield, charm down, farm, all the way down. Get that Tin Can off my screen. The opponent sends back out Groudon, and Groudon is not only going to be greeted with a super effective charge move, they're also going to have to deal with this vamped up charm damage. The opponent doesn't even reach the Precipice Blades. Gardevoir might be glassy, but Trainer Fire Punch just isn't going to get the job done. Gardevoir withstands the damage. Out comes Zacian, the opponent looking for the Snarl farm down, but Gardevoir refuses to die. Reaches the Triple Axle, once again vamping up our attack, but Boston actually opts to save Gardevoir with one charm's worth of damage and sends out Dragonite, using it as the third shield. Dragonite able to withstand the play rough, fire off the double resisted Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw won't be lethal. Boston still has two Pokemon remaining. We send back up Mewtwo, reach the Psystrike on the CMP tie, and Boston will take the dub. GG's. Heading into the next battle. My god, are these flying by. We see Mewtwo into Togekiss. I used to give Boston a very hard time. For his charge move timing, I want to see Boston throw at 1, 4 and 7, and Boston does not disappoint, throwing 7 Psycho Cuts and the Psystrike, of course, forcing us early shield advantage as everyone is petrified of Mewtwo. Again, we threw 4 Psycho Cuts and the charge move for optimal fast move timing, and the opponent is now all shields down. Boston finds himself in a very tricky spot as we've got nothing that can really withstand this oppressive charm damage as Boston opts to shield his low health Mewtwo, recognising he'll survive one charm, able to reach one further Psystrike, securing the knockout. My god, Mewtwo, you monster! That opening matchup there was a prime example of why I preach fast move timing over and over again, as if Boston would have threw at potato timing and allowed any free charms through, we wouldn't have actually reached the third Psystrike. Returning to the commentary, the opponent sent out Excadrill, committed to the Mud Shot farm down, threw a Rock Slide at our Dragonite, which we showed very little respect for. Boston opts to save his Protect Shield. We chipped Garchomp with the Dragon Claw, committed to the Charm down, farm down, and this is just game over. The opponent isn't doubled up on charge moves. Boston shields up the Drill Run, returns fire with the neutral triple Axial. Excadrill cannot tank a hit for shit, and that is going to be all she wrote. Boston on a 3-game win streak. Let's go. We see a familiar lead. Mewtwo into Palkia. Pretty neutral, however I would favour Mewtwo due to the fact we are far spammier, and the opponent this time decides to throw on alignment. Thank you very much for the free Psycho Cut. The opponent then looks to catch a double resisted Psystrike onto Yveltal, and all they catch is the Shadow Queen's work. The opponent throws the Oblivion Wing, Gardevoir able to withstand the damage, the opponent looking for the Snarl farm down. However, they actually get scared, throw a charge move which allows Boston to shield that charge move up, maintaining the correct alignment. However, we are down 2 Protect Shields. Boston fires off the triple Axle into Groudon. However, Groudon isn't going to fancy this work of our Dragonite as we completely wall the energy. Boston sends out Dragonite. The opponent then pivot back out into Palkia. Boston going to fire off the Dragon Claw, which should be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and it's time to serve up that wham bam combo play. Give the opponent the Big Mac and the fries. Get that Palkia off my screen. Back out comes Groudon, and Groudon is also going to get the same treatment. The opponent does survive the Psystrike. However, how the hell are they going to get rid of Dragonite? I have no idea. The opponent opts to throw the Precipice Blaze, guaranteeing the knockout, but Dragonite comes in and a few Dragon Breaths are going to secure the dub. In the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Solgaleo. A pretty tricky Pokemon for our entire team, as Gardevoir also doesn't fancy this work. Due to the sub Steel typing, our charms are going to be resisted. The opponent throws the Iron Head. Boston once again throwing at the correct timing, 1 Psycho Cut and the Shadow Ball. The opponent does respect the damage, and I really wanted to boom him. However, undeterred, Boston fires off yet another Shadow Ball. Does the opponent respect this one? They do not. Get that Solgaleo off my screen. Evidently, Solgaleo wasn't all that tricky for our team, as the opponent lost the 0-1 shield to our double legacy Shadow Mewtwo, sent out Dragonite, and conceded when we showed him Gardevoir. In the next battle, we see the new top meta threat, Landorus. However, Landorus isn't going to be winning any charge move prior events against Mewtwo. Of course, the opponent shields the first one, as they're going to debuff the shit out of us with the Sancia Storm. Mewtwo might be glassy at Boston, not willing to shield up such a weak move. We then make a very nice catch the double resisted Sancia Storm onto Dragonite, stay in school kids and learn to counter. Straight 5 mud shots to each Sancia Storm. The opponent then hard punished our Dragonite with a Togekiss. We fire off the single resisted superpower, which is going to do absolutely nothing as Togekiss is one very thick boy. Boston can now send back up Mewtwo with residual energy and shield advantage. Again, Boston continuing for a very disciplined timing. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. If you want to master using Shadow Pokemon, fast move timing is not just important, it is absolutely everything. The opponent opts to 2-shield their Charmer, which is going to be a mistake as Mewtwo has far too much in the tank. Psystrike going to be massive overkill. We then pivot out into Gardevoir. Gardevoir is going to be able to commit to the full Charm down, farm down. Boston could shield this up. He could tank it. He opts to shield the Sancia Storm, and it proves to be a very good shield as the opponent's final Pokemon is Dragonite, and this triple Axle is going to be double super effective and going to be massive overkill. GG's, and thanks for playing. Shadow Gardevoir once again running rampant. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Mewtwo into another Landorus. You know the drill. The opponent going to place the CMP tie. They do not win. All these Landorus players are the same. They're just super horny to get off that debuff. And of course, they're going to shield the first one. Boston again, likely going to tank the first one. Do we see the same play of looking to catch the double resisted Sancia Storm onto Dragonite Boston? Once again, proves his counting is absolutely on point. And the opponent again falls into the trap of being super horny, throwing that debuff move. The opponent then send out Dialga. Boston going to just go straight for the superpower, which will give Dialga less farm. Superpower forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and trainer, you sir are in trouble. We've now got a 2-0 shield advantage, and we've got a Psystrike banked, and Mewtwo certainly does not lose CMP to anything we're likely to see in this meta. Boston shields up the Iron Head. Can we get the Charm down, Farm down before the opponent reaches the next one? We cannot. Boston is now all shields down, but we've got energy here, there, and every fucking where. The opponent likely to show their third. What do I know? Out comes Landorus, but it's going to be straight in and straight out as Triple Axel double super effective. Secures the knockout. The opponent sends out Ho-Oh. And this is the correct play. If you're wondering why Boston isn't pivoting, he's just looking to put this thing into Psystrike range, which this Triple Axel will do. And as I said previously, trainer, you won't win CMP. Psystrike going to be all she wrote. Very, very nice endgame. GG's. Moving on to the next battle. We see the original Palkia, not the origin form. Again, a pretty good matchup for Mewtwo, as Palkia isn't particularly bulky. This normal version is actually even more glassy than the origin form. Boston shields at the Aqua Tail, looks to double up on charge moves. Does the opponent respect the damage? Psystrike nearly one-shots. We then see the very quick snipe with Dragonite before the opponent has a chance to react. The opponent answers our Dragonite save switch with Landorus, which is by no means a good response, as these mud shots are double resisted and the opponent has to land the Stone Edge. This is enough for a Stone Edge. Boston recognising with shield disadvantage, the opponent unlikely to bait, correctly shields at the Stone Edge, and the opponent then pivot out into what's this thing called? Gholdengo? Whenever I see it, I just think of a cheese string. What is this Pokemon based on? Surely that is a copyright infringement. The opponent still hanging on to 2 Protect Shields, and this Gholdengo is going to be so hard to get rid of. Boston sends back out Mewtwo. Once again, not letting me down with very disciplined timing, 4 Psycho Cuts and the Psystrike. However, I don't think we're going to reach another one. Boston agrees, pivots out into Gardevoir, sacrificing it to the Pokegods. This time, we're the one that gets boomed, and the opponent is going to Hex farm us down. Very well played to that opponent. In the next battle, we see the mirror. This is the bait game. Most Mewtwo's are running double Legacy. Boston farms up, wins CMP and full sends. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh, boo, Mr. Opponent. Boston looking to call the bait. Boston's huge cojones coming in clutch. This man must wear shorts even in winter, as there's no way you fit their massive balls in a pair of jeans. Boston shields at the Psystrike, recognising he's going to be able to outpace to the Shadow Ball. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catching the Shadow Ball onto Dialga, but it still lands for huge damage. With that chip damage, Gardevoir's going to be able to come in, get the Charm down, Farm down before they even reach an Iron Head. I imagine Mewtwo will be returning, and we're about to find out if it's double Legacy. Back out comes Mewtwo. The opponent throws just before he reaches the Triple Axel. The opponent throws the Shadow Ball, securing the knockout. Do we re-enter the mirror, or do we send out Dragonite and look for the Dragon Breath farm down? Boston says, Mewtwo, out you go, buddy, and goes straight for the Psystrike. This is resisted, but probably knocks out from this range. The opponent survives the 1 HP and the Dream, and then send out Lugia. Boston looking to force the opponent's final protection or land massive damage with the Shadow Ball. The opponent opts to shield, and I think that's probably worst case scenario. It's now 1 shield Dragonite versus the world. Lugia is so thick. His stat product is over 10,000, which is absurd. I think the only Pokemon in the Master League with a bigger stat product is Zygarde. I think the only potential win con is if the opponent unnecessary full send an Aeroblast. The opponent, far smarter than that, opt to throw the back-to-back Sky attacks, and unfortunately, we're going to take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. Moving on to the next battle. We see Mewtwo into PvPoke's #1 ranked pick, Palkia Origin. We've seen this one play out. Boston happy to stay in and always happy when the opponent gives us a free Psycho Cut. Boston shields up the Aqua Tail. The opponent then once again pivot out into Dialga, looking to catch the resisted move, but Boston says not today, trainer, and greets it with the Shadow Queen. Boston threw a few more Psycho Cuts before we pivoted, so I don't think the 1 shield Charm down, Farm down is possible. Boston agrees, fires off the Triple Axel. Triple Axel does at least force a Protect Shield back. The opponent is going to take us out with an Iron Head. However, we can now get a very nice running start with Dragonite. Boston has no protect shields, too hard behind. We've got two very attack weighted, oppressive Pokemon. The opponent sends back out Palkia. We fire off the Dragon Claw. If the opponent shields this, it's time for the wham bam combo play. I've called it, and there it is. You know the drill. Hi Palkia, bye Palkia. Does the opponent have something that wants to see Mewtwo with energy and Dragonite at half health? The answer is certainly not. We fire off the Psystrike Rocking Groudon below half health. The opponent then plays the CMP tie. They do not win, and Psystrike is going to be all she wrote. GG's, very nicely played. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Mewtwo into Solgaleo. Last time I said it was a tricky lead, but Boston absolutely clapped the last Solgaleo and even gained himself shield advantage. Boston continuing to farm up, opting to let the opponent throw first. They full send the Iron Head, and ouch, that hurt. This time Boston opts for the bait. Is Boston the best master batter in the world? Yes he is, but Boston never kill poor defenseless cats. So I'm a big cat fan and a big pet fan in general. Boston this time full sends the Shadow Ball, rocking Solgaleo down deep into the red. This one actually survived the Shadow Ball, so I imagine the last one was under-leveled. I shoutcast on my phone, and I'm old as fuck, so I definitely can't read the CP. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, aggressively pivot out into Palkia, and Palkia is greeted with the Shadow Queen of Destruction. Boston shields up the Aqua Tail. Palkia is taken super effective. The opponent can't even reach the second Aqua Tail. Gardavoir gets the full charm down, farm down, and it is a Mewtwo in the back. Boston fires off the triple axle, vamping up his attack. Triple axle forces the opponent's final protect shield. Just let this go, Boston, and save a shield for Dragonite. We see the instant no shield deployed. Boston agrees, saving one shield. Dragonite for the win. The only lose con is the opponent making a catch. Boston, don't let him catch, buddy. Don't let him catch. As I say that, the opponent tries to catch. Boston says, Jamie Finn, you know me better than that. I'm no potato. And we're going to fire off the BM superpower and secure the dub. GG's. Boston shield decision there, absolutely on point. He is showing all the credentials this season to reach legend only using shadow Pokemon. In the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Xerneas. The opponent farm up some energy, then pivot into the stupid tin can. We fire off the Psystrike, again forcing us early shield advantage, and answer this stupid tin can with the Queen of Destruction. As we was very quick in our response, we should be able to shield once and farm down. It takes Dialga 18 Dragon Breaths to each Iron Head, so we need 6 charms to knock out Boston. Oh, I think we would have made it, but opts to throw the triple axle. Triple axle does secure the knockout. The opponent sends back out Xerneas. Xerneas is going to need to throw energy, and all their charge moves are super expensive. Moonblast will be securing the knockout. The opponent gets greedy in close combat. Trainer, what are you doing? Gardevoir survives 1 HP and the dream. Fires off the boosted triple axle, forcing the opponent's final protect shield. Mewtwo comes in, even outpaces to the Psystrike. The opponent in absolute shambles. The opponent's final Pokemon is Palkia, and they're going to concede the match. Oof, the opponent made some very big mistakes there. We've all done it. In the next battle, we see Mewtwo into Kyogre, and the opponent actually says, fuck that, Shadow Mewtwo, not for me. Let's move on to the next one. We've seen this one play out before. I'd bet a large amount of money the opponent's going to go straight for the Sancia Storm, losing CMP. Why do people never learn? Trainers that use these debuffing Pokemon are all so predictable. They spam the debuffing move as soon as they get it and always shield the first move. This opponent does exactly that, then pivot out into Palkia, and Palkia is going to be greeted with the Queen of Destruction. You know how this one goes by now. If you're still here in the video, we're going to go for the 1 shield and charm farm all the way down. If Landorus does return, they're 2 mud shots off the charge move, and we're 1 charm away back out. Comes Landorus, and Landorus now has a tough decision to make. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do, and the opponent doesn't overfarm. This is the easiest no shield of Boston's life. The opponent throw the Sancia Storm, then commit to the mud shot farm down. We send back out Mewtwo. Boston overfarms, fires off the Psystrike. Psystrike will be securing the knockout. We see the instant pivot into Dragonite. The opponent's final Pokemon is Dialga. Usually not the best matchup when shields are up, but the opponent has no protect shields, too hard behind, and superpower is going to be all Shiro, and Boston lands another huge boom to close out the video. Huge shout out to my friend XBoston. I'm sure if you've made it to this part of the video, you'll know why he is my favourite battler in the world, as he is so much fun to shoutcast. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.